So what's up? This is going to be my second video ever posted on YouTube. I gave a little rundown about myself in the first video. It was just about how you can take that first step with anything. And it doesn't have to be great, it doesn't have to be good, it doesn't have to be moderately good at all, honestly. Because what's important is you take that first step and not overthink things. Right now I'm working on my nootropics brand. Sent bottles to influencers. I've sent about 30 bottles out to influencers by now. And I haven't seen much success with it, but I've done influencer ads before, and I know that I can find success if I just keep pushing myself. When I do things to automate the process to make it easier on myself, so that I don't have to do as much work, as much tedious work, it really helps me get things done. It helps me focus on what's important. Right now, I'm working on DM automation for TikTok influencer outreach. So basically, I'm getting my script that I've collected. I've collected data of what these influencers respond with in 2022, and after they see my pitch, how they react, the different responses that they give me. I've got that all taken down. I'm using this website called ManyChat to automate the Instagram DM process. So basically you just, you put in your different texts, you put in the responses, and then when influencers reach back after you send the initial message, they can talk to a robot basically, and you don't have to do any work. So the number one thing I've been doing right now for my brand is influencer contacting, and instead of getting people on sites like Upwork, basically freelancers, instead of paying them to do work for me, I decided that I'm going to get software to automate the process. There's struggles that come with automating it. I'm learning something new, and that's hard, and it's a little bit discouraging, but it's also really fun because I know that I'm going to benefit greatly from it. I spent a couple days learning and working on this Instagram automation process, then I can really work on things that are more important and not spend so much time grinding, not spend so much time focusing on small things like sending DMs to influencers every single day. That's pretty tedious, and it gets pretty discouraging, and it's just not something that you should be looking at when you're running a business the entire time. You should be looking at higher ticket tasks that are going to be pushing the business forward rather than working on the same thing every single day. So that's what I've learned recently. Like I said, it's a growing process, it's a learning process. This brand is not intended for me to make a bunch of money. It's not intended for me to blow up as a brand. I just want to learn how to create a successful brand, or learn how to create a brand in general. Because before this, I had no idea what to do, and now I'm slowly learning and growing, and it's really great for my brain. It's really great for my individual self to learn, because it's what I want to do in the future. I love to create brands. It's something that's fascinated me ever since I was 14 years old. So I thought that just talking about this to the camera would help me jot some of my thoughts down, and maybe if anyone sees this, they'll find it helpful as well. Everything always takes longer than you think. You think something's going to take a day. You think it's going to take a couple hours, and then you run into a roadblock and you have to postpone something, or you have to move on or adapt, and things just always take longer than you think. I started this last Thursday, and it's been quite a bit of time of me working on this and perfecting it in order to make it fully autonomous, my program. So I'm still contacting influencers and responding to them, but eventually this past week of work will allow me to, put that aside. I can still do overhead for it, and then I could focus on more important things. Right now I'm saving money to spend on ads, so I'm just saving as much money as I can from work, from sales. I have a small dropshipping brand that I'm doing right now. I'm trying to sell that brand on forums and on marketplaces so that I can make some extra money for my supplement brand. I'm unsure if the brand is going to take off itself, so rather than putting in all this money into it right now, I'm just going to put my sweat and time, and that's what's going to hopefully move me forward for the time being. I've spent money on brands before, but unless you're spending about $5,000 within a couple months, you're not really going to see any progress. You're just going to break even, because all of those platforms like Facebook ads, Snapchat ads, even TikTok ads now, you really have to put in money in order to see results. You have to put in a good amount of money. And, you know, I'm sure that some people would tell you differently, but in my experience, you have to put in money, and then you either break even or you break a little bit below even, and then slowly you work your way up, you know, and it starts to convert better. But I'm just not in that position right now. I'm not in the position to spend a bunch of my money. I'd rather save it. And, you know, delayed gratification always pays off more than instant gratification. No dreams or desires will come easy. They take massive time and effort and dedication. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm dedicating myself to my brand, and now I'm starting to make little videos, and hopefully that will go somewhere too. But right now I just want to talk to a camera and get my thoughts down and get situated. This is not only for people to watch and learn from, and watch and, you know, maybe view me as an example of how you can do things the same or differently, but it's also just for me to document things. So if no one ends up watching this, then it'll be for me to look back on and remember, you know, what I learned in 2022 May and what I did to grow at this time. Over the past 2 months, I've been on a journey of cutting out things that give me instant gratification in order to give me more time to focus on important things. Instant gratification, it's been a main struggle of mine throughout my life. I didn't really even realize it until maybe last year, how badly it was affecting me. So if anyone's struggling with getting work done, you know, and, you know, maybe you think you have ADHD or something, or whatever you think you have that's blocking you from getting the things done that you want to do, and, you know, actually working on your dreams. I'm not saying completing your dreams, because I'm not there yet, but I'm at least working on them. So if anyone has things holding them back, then I would highly suggest that you cut out things that give you instant gratification. One main thing, it's almost the silent killer with this, is scrolling on social media. Cut that out. If you can use software or apps that can blacklist these programs like Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, you know, YouTube, any type of streaming platform, so that, you know, from X to Y, you can work without being distracted by all these different things, notifications, whatever. That's important. I've just used discipline in order to stop scrolling, because when you really think about it, the only thing that scrolling is doing is holding you back from your goals. You know, and especially if you're waking up in the morning and doing it. I had a bad habit of doing that. And now when I wake up, I collect my thoughts. I'm really in the present. You know, it's just takes like cutting off that habit. Scrolling is it's a really big thing that wastes a lot of time in your life. If you look at the time spent on your phone throughout the day, you can see like when you were on it, what hours of the day. Just really look at that. Don't be afraid to stare at those things. Don't be afraid to feel a little bit crappy inside, because, hey man, you know, you're young, like you're not where you want to be right now, but it takes feeling a little bit bad inside to really take steps forward to improving. Scrolling or streaming content, you know, if you're watching Netflix, if you're waking up in the morning and watching TV, or maybe it's 1:30 p.m. and you feel like you've gotten an hour and a half or 2 hours done of work, and you want to start watching some Netflix or Hulu or whatever you watch, just know that that's cutting away from your productivity, that's cutting away from your drive, and that's going to become part of your routine. You just have to cut that out of your routine. There's different like programs that can help you. So when I want to go on YouTube in the daytime, it shows me this, and pretty much stops me from going on, you know, social media or streaming, because that's a silent killer and you don't really even realize it. Some more obvious things are gaming. If you game a lot, you know, unless you're going to become a professional gamer, which maybe you will be, but I think a lot of people think they're a lot better at video games than they actually are. So if you game a lot and you wake up and that's kind of your main drive, and you have thoughts of doing something else with your life, then, you know, maybe you put the games aside. Two really big ones are, these two will completely demotivate you. They will remove any sense of drive that you have. And daily use of either of these things it'll send you down a path that, it's not gonna make you feel great. You're not gonna get a lot done. So if you do all of those on a daily basis, or if you wake up and you do any of those, cut it out. That is your first step. Don't try to think of the different things that you can do. Just think about what you can do now, and that's cutting out the things that are making you unproductive. Give yourself a chance, basically. That's what I've been doing for the past couple months. I had these dreams, I had these desires of wanting to build awesome brands, and I've had this my whole life, but I didn't realize what was bringing me down was my own actions, my own habits. And that really took a toll. It took a toll on not just my personal achievements, but it took a toll on my relationships, it took a toll on my financial situations, it took a toll on a lot of things. And pretty much what all of those do is it gives you dopamine when you shouldn't actually be receiving dopamine. And it's called instant gratification. I'm sure most of you know that when you give yourself that instant gratification, you're basically telling yourself, oh, everything's going to be fine now. But really what you're doing is you're just taking that rock, that dirty rock, and instead of cleaning it, you're just kicking it further down the path, and you're leaving it for your future self to deal with. Might as well cut it out now, because whether you stop it now or in 5 years, you're still going to have that problem. So you might as well stop it now. That's just the way I see it. And all of these things combined, they make you put things off in order to feel better. You put things off. It's not that you can't do these things, and it's not that you can't learn and grow, it's that you're putting things off in order to feel better. So just stop putting things off, and you're gonna feel crappy. You're not gonna feel good. You've damaged your body, you've damaged your brain a little bit by doing these things. Not just the big one, but all the other ones too. They affect you more than you think. And obviously, if you're not dieting properly and you're not exercising, then that's going to push you back as well. I need to exercise more. That's one thing that I need to get on. And it's hard for me. It's also just hard to find time for that, because I'm working on my brands, I'm working on my, I'm working at work, and it just gets tough, but that's not an excuse. I know that I have to start working out, so I'm just going to start doing it. And even if it's, 10 push-ups a day, and then you move to 20 push-ups a day, and then you move to, 30 push-ups and half a mile run. Just start small, work your way up from there. So that's a big one. You have to cut out things that give you instant gratification and start to do things that will give yourself delayed gratification, which brings true joy and true success. Really, it does. Basically, there's a lot of struggles that come with the lack of action and the act of acting. Action causes pain just as much as no action does. But the only difference is not acting upon something is going to continue to keep you in the same spot, while acting upon something is going to slowly bring you up, or maybe it'll slowly bring you down. But you wouldn't want to look back on things and be like, damn, I wish I tried harder. I know that so many people, at least in the groups that I've seen, they have these dreams. They want to start some project, or they want to do something. And I've met plenty of people who've actually started it, and they're way ahead of me, But I know that there's a good amount of people out there who want to start their projects. They want to start something awesome. And they have these big dreams in their head before they fall asleep at night. And you're not going to get there without acting upon it, cutting out the things that are bringing you down, and staying in that dark period of action without gratification. Maybe it'll be a month, maybe it'll be a year, maybe it'll be 5 years until you get anywhere. But as soon as you hit that point, it'll all pay off. And you got to be motivated for the right reasons. You got to want to create something because you just want to create it. you can't chase the monetary benefits of things. That's only going to lead you to, maybe having money and then not really knowing what to do with the rest of your life because you didn't work on that. You need to work on yourself, and you need to chase the things that are going to bring you up. So the struggles that come with lack of action are, self-deprecating on yourself. That sounded funny, but, feeling bad about yourself is not a great feeling. You know that you want to do things, but you don't do it. You feel maybe anxious, depressed, you wake up and you don't feel like doing anything. Well, I'm not going to say that's going to go away when you start working on things, because there's obviously days where you feel not the best. You don't feel good at all. But, working hard on something, seeing little result, building it into your routine, delaying that gratification in order to build something awesome for yourself, that's what's really going to push you forward. No dreams or desires will ever come easy. You have to put time, dedication, and a bunch of effort into it. That's 100% the truth, and you're not going to get anywhere without putting all the other stuff aside. Not to say that you still can't have fun, but find fun that's aligned with your goals. If your fun is taking you in opposite directions, maybe that's not the fun you should be having. So here's a little bit of work habits that lead to success. I heard this quote, "Work like a lion, not like a cow." And if you start to get on your journey with working on things, maybe you're going to start working on the same thing every day and you're going to keep pushing one thing. But like a cow eats the same mediocre grass every single day, slowly but surely he'll get fed. That's not the same as working like a lion. You want to look around, you need to observe what's going on, find your prey, find what you want to do, find what works, find what's going to push you forward, find what's a high ticket task, it's high priority and high ticket. Work on that. The lion hunts their prey, it hunts the gazelle, and then afterwards celebrate that victory. Celebrate yourself taking that step forward, like a lion celebrates with his whole family, eating that one gazelle for the night and then ready to hunt the next day. Don't be working from, when you wake up to when you go to bed on some small, minute task that's going to, slowly bring you up. Figure out a way to automate that and figure out a way to get those things done without working on them every single day. For me, my cow-like instinct was to send out DMs every day and respond to DMs every single day. But what I learned was that I have to be a lion and I have to, set out and hunt. And I found a software that's going to allow me to automate the process. And, I'm going to work real hard. I'm going to run. I'm going to sprint. And I'm going to get that done. And once I get that done, I'm going to celebrate for a little bit. Celebrate for the night. Maybe go out and hang out with some friends and do something awesome. And the next day, I can focus on the next task. Another thing is, one, if you haven't started doing to-do lists already, you should start doing that. If you are doing to-do lists already, you should create a power box, and I'll show it right here. So basically, you want to prioritize the tasks that are going to get you the furthest and the tasks that are going to, push your project along the most, which are, for me right now, I'm just using this as an example because it's what I'm working on currently. It's getting my Instagram automation set up for the brand. Before, one of the high ticket tasks was to get my shipping company set up, get my 3PL set up. That was a very high ticket task that I had to get done. A low priority task is something that you should schedule. You have to schedule that task, and then you can delegate tasks, like getting a haircut or something. It's like important, it's a high priority task, but not necessarily a high ticket task. And so you want to schedule that. So just look up the power box and just try to fit stuff into there, and maybe you can tape it to your mirror, tape it to your wall in your room, And then so every time you look at it, you can be like, okay, here's what I really need to get done. Here's something that I need to get done, but it's not that important. You know, here's something that I need to get done that's important, but it's like super, you know, maybe time consuming and easy. So I'm going to schedule that, or I'm going to delegate that. You know, that's just an example. Habits compound over time. Every day you repeat the motions, it gets easier. And then every day you put it off, it gets 2 times harder. So if you did push-ups every day, 10 push-ups a day, you know, if you do that for a week, if you take one day off, that 9th day that you're going to start doing push-ups again, it's going to be twice as hard as it was the time before. Because, you know, habits compound over time. And the same thing is the opposite for when it comes to instant gratification. So if you're doing things like watching videos, watching adult videos, you know, that stuff, if you take a week-long break and then you watch it once, the next day your brain's going to be pushing you to gratify itself, because it knows that that's what's going to make it feel good. That's what's going to make it feel okay. But you don't want to feel okay. You want to feel uncomfortable. It's not about feeling comfortable. You want to feel like, I don't know what I'm doing, or I don't know if this is the right thing, because that's what's going to push you out of your comfort zone. I heard this quote by this guy on Instagram. He's got dogs and he runs all the time. He says, you know, there's going to be a tunnel in front of you and it's going to be dark. It's going to be a dark, pitch black tunnel. And if you don't go in it, you're going to be on the same side of the tunnel as you were before, always. But if you go into the tunnel, you're going to, you know, it's going to be dark and scary at first. You're not going to really know what's going on. But the deeper and deeper you get into it, the more that your eyes adjust. And that is such a true fact. I mean, the deeper and deeper I go along with this business, the more that I'm adjusting, the more that I'm making improvements, the more that I'm seeing clearly. And at first I was completely blind. I was just like, what is happening? This is crazy. But, you know, now I think I could, if all of this, you know, failed one day, or if all of this just got taken away from me or something like that, I could definitely rebuild what I did through another brand or do something else. So that was just a quick little video. I will definitely remake this video in a more concise way. I just need to push videos out, and I need to, you know, get as much content on my page as possible. Because if I spend, you know, hours making this an A+ paper, I don't think I'm ever going to get it done. So I just wanted to spend 30 minutes talking about it. I wrote some notes about this. So this is pretty much like a rough draft, but I'm going to upload it anyway. Let me know if there's any like questions, concerns, comments. Maybe you think what I'm saying is completely false. I don't know. But yeah, that's just some stuff I've been doing right now. Instagram DM automation, high ticket tasks, work like a lion, not a cow, and build healthy habits. You know what you should stop doing. All right, peace.